Well, good evening, Tri-County family. Tonight we have a very special time together. It has been about 2 years now since we said goodbye to Mark, Christy, Taylor, and Cameron. For nearly 7 years, we as a church family poured our lives into this family's life as we sought to grow into Christ's likeness and into the ministries to which God had called us. Well, just recently, Mark has taken a position as a lead pastor of a church in North Carolina. We thought it would be good for us to hear from Mark about the new ministry as well as informing us of how we can pray for him, his family, and the church. Remember, Paul reminds us in Philippians 4 that out of our direct investment into people and families such as this, their spiritual fruit is put to our account. So let's use tonight as not only a means through which to catch up, but to equip us for more effective prayer. Let's join Mark now. Well, church family, again, thank you for joining us tonight. Tonight, we are just a little bit out of the norm for the last several weeks. Matter of fact, I think almost for a month and a half, we've been doing an emphasis on our missionaries and visiting with them each Wednesday. And I know that's just been a great encouragement to all of you. However, tonight we have a really unique opportunity. A number of you for now over a year have been asking, how's Pastor Mark and Christy and the kids doing? How are they doing? Where are they at? How has God been leading them? And tonight we actually have the opportunity to sit and talk with Mark and see where he's at, the new ministry he's plugged into, find out how God got him there, how things are going, and how things are going with the family. But then how we can be praying for them. Again, Wednesday night's always been our emphasis of coming around and praying for people within our church community, as well as our mission community, and then people that we know. Again, the years of investment that we had in Mark and Christy and the kids, and then their investment back in us is now bearing fruit in a new way as God has placed him in a specific ministry there as a lead pastor in his church. And so I'll quit talking now. And I will hand things over to Mark, let him say hi. And then Mark, if you will just take a moment to maybe, I don't know, give a quick update of family, how everybody's doing, and then talk about how God brought you to this ministry, and then the transition from, and I'll give a little bit of it away now, from interim to lead pastor. And then if you just want to build from there, you can. And if there's anything that I think I want to ask to have you unpack a little bit more, I'll maybe insert myself and ask that question. So again, Mark, thank you so much for taking time and coming out of your busy schedule and giving it to us today.
Well, thank you, Brian. Tri-County Baptist Church, I'm so glad to talk to you again. It's so neat. I'm so excited to be here talking with you through Zoom. And when Brian called, I was excited about it. I've been excited for about 2 weeks now, being able to finally talk to you. One of the things that is interesting about what's happening now for us is that we are now, it's neat. We're now the senior pastor, lead pastor. We're the only pastor at the little church. It's called Lighthouse Baptist Church in Sylvan, North Carolina. We are in the western North Carolina, where I'm from originally. My hometown is about 25 miles east of here. So this is the area I grew up in. This is kind of like coming back home again, if you will. And so just want to say, glad to be with you all tonight and doing this. Let me try to give you a quick update about where everybody is and how they're doing. Number one is we're all doing very well. We are all, excited. We've been doing really well through this transition. I know a worry, I remember a number of conversations before we left. A lot of people were just worried logically, hey, what's going to happen? Those types of things. And I wish I had enough time. I don't have 2 years. I can't tell you 2 years in about 5-10 minutes, but I wish I could, because there were hard times. Okay. There were times of worry. There were times of even doubt. Okay. Because we're human. However, through the process, through all of this, it has been God's blessing upon us has been amazing. And all I can stand here or sit here right now and do is just say, all to the glory of God has been the last 2 years in this process. When we left Tri-County, we actually came to this area, which was kind of unique. Do not let anyone tell you God does not have a sense of humor. We were here, and then in the past 2 years, we've moved residences 6 times, I think, in those 2 years. So we're really good at packing. We're really good at living out of boxes. As you can sort of see behind me, I showed Pastor Brian my office before. All my books are out, and I'm pretty sure they missed me. But my office is set up now. And so we moved here to North Carolina, put my kids in school. Christy had a job over at Hazelwood Elementary, which is the next county over. And we were here for about a year. And one of the things that, I was preaching, I was teaching, I was doing some different things off and on, because again, people know me here. They know, they were just sort of excited to see me again. But we didn't feel like this was the right place for us. And some things were happening, and then an opportunity opened up in Tennessee for Christy, for a different kind of a job. And so, not having any clear direction for me of where I'm going to land, so we packed up everybody and we moved to Tennessee. About that time, Lighthouse, where we are now, was their pastor was leaving, and I've known about Lighthouse for a couple of years. Lighthouse was started in 2004, so I know about Lighthouse. But their pastor was leaving. Their pastor was leaving sort of about the same time I was moving, and some people were talking about it to me, but we just didn't think it was going to work out. So we were over there for a year, and then right around about Christmas time, so Christmas of 2019. That's pre-COVID. You remember those times whenever we could actually go and meet at restaurants and talk and handshake, all those things. And we were talking. I'd been over here to visit, a time or two to speak. And we really started talking about what would it look like as being an interim here. And so we just sort of, we went back and forth about what would the commitment be. They were still trying to run 3 services a week at that point in time. I'm an hour and a half drive one way away, which is not horrible. But again, for you that know that this section of the world, that's going around I-40 through the gorge from North Carolina to Tennessee, is not the best thing you want to do, especially after preaching twice in a day and teaching and, those types of things. But we thought we could do that because I didn't have anything else going on. And so we started doing that. And then right before, really right in the middle of COVID, COVID hit, and it was great for them because you guys know me, I love technology. Even as I'm looking, I'm on this side of the camera, there's like 2 computers sitting in front of me. So I love technology. I love those types of things. And so for this little church, I was just able to go ahead and turn on my phone and start Sunday morning service for them. Like nothing changed. The only difference was I didn't have the hour and a half drive to meet with them. We fast forward a little bit longer, and then, we started talking about, because school, as you guys understand, with Christy being a teacher and the kids being in school, if we're going to move, our transition sort of has to hit summer. That's just the way our world is. And so Christy and I started talking. We were, the kids are now old enough. We started talking with them and about what this opportunity of coming to Lighthouse would be. And so we started talking to the search committee. We started talking to the deacons and other people about it. And like most things that church related, I don't know, I guess it's more God related. I always feel like I'm the last one to know. I feel like God shares it with everyone else. And then it's like, oh yeah, Mark, by the way, you need to know this too. Because I was going ahead and, I was like, hey, I think we're really interested in doing this. And the church was like, great, we were ready for you like 2 months ago. But they were respectful for us and respectful of our process. And So come the first Sunday in August, which I think was the 4th, I don't know, the past 2 months it seemed like, with COVID, February, March, and April took forever. August and September seem like they've taken a day and a half, okay, because it's just been back-to-back stuff. But August 4th, they voted, and I became their lead pastor. And it's been great because we've moved here. We're in an apartment now. Christy and the kids are back in the same school system they were 2 years ago. So it was instantly, they knew people, they knew friends, they knew workers. All of that happened for them. And then here at church, it's one of those things where I'm able to come in and start teaching, and it's one of those things where, because you guys understand the way that I teach and the way that I preach, they were just, people are just coming up to me, they're asking questions. It's been neat. And so, I know that right now we're going through the sola lessons right at the moment, the 5 solas, but truly it's all to the glory of God. I mean, I wish I had more time to tell you about all the different things, but it's at the end of it, again, it's all to the glory of God, because God just is receiving all the praise through all of this process.
Well, that's fantastic, and that is exciting to hear. As we think about Lighthouse and the fact of kind of putting you into Philippians chapter 4, and anytime, we and you did it well when you transitioned away from here, in that Acts chapter 12 kind of mentality of when the church at Antioch let go of Paul and the other individuals to go into ministry, asking that permission, in a sense, to head out to what God was calling you next. Because of that, and because of the investment, the disciple making that we were doing with one another, not just you and I, but
Right.
You to the church family, and the church family back to you all as a family. Now where you're at, in a very real sense, fruit that comes from you is put to our account, Philippians
Right.
chapter 4.
Right.
And so in light of that, we want to make sure that we are still being good stewards and praying for you and praising God for you and with you on things that he's doing. So not a bad news, good news kind of thing, but as we think of, first, what are the things that we can be praying for in relationship to Lighthouse? What are some of the, and excuse me for using terms, this forgiveness is not for you, it's for the people listening. Mark will plug into these terms right away. When we think of some of the weaknesses or threats, that face Lighthouse, as it does every church, what are those things that you guys are facing that we can be praying about? But then to follow up to that, what are those strengths that Lighthouse has that you're trying to grab a hold of to meet those things, not only from a threat standpoint, but from opportunities? What are the opportunities that God places? Because those threats and opportunities, in reality, threats are opportunities. So
Right.
what are those things that God has put out there? And then what are the strengths that Lighthouse has that you're working to leverage to take those spiritual opportunities that God has given you? So, boom.
Okay.
Sounds like another staff meeting. Go ahead and talk about those opportunities that are sitting out there.
I do. I've missed these. I've missed these opportunities. Let me start off with threats. I'll try to work my way up the ladder if I can. A threat. One of the things that I would ask the church family to be praying for us, that is truly a threat for us, is our congregation is older. And whenever I say that, I mean significantly older. We outside of my head deacon, who's only about 8 years older than me, outside of us, the majority, over 70% of us, are probably 70 and older.
Wow. So
that's our biggest threat, is in the process of reaching out to younger families, while we are one truly loving church. It's in that, it's not necessarily in that consumer mentality, but it is in the what can you offer, in the opportunities for a family to grow together, than that, whenever they come through the door, because of the way that we're structured. One of my biggest worries is that a visitor will come in, they look around, and they don't see anybody like them. They don't see anybody their age, and they just go, this place is just not for me. The guy up there speaking is pretty cool, but yeah, whatever. And they just walk away. With that being a threat, though, there is where the weaknesses, opportunities goes into that. If you ever looked at us on a map, and I don't know if you can hear it because where I'm sitting, I can hear it. A really good highway is literally 300 yards outside of our front door. I can hear the transfer trucks as they're going by. We are located in a place where you can obviously find us. I have a 40-foot lighthouse literally out at the corner of my place, at the corner of the church, that you can see, and it actually has a functioning light that literally goes around and around. So we are very centrally located in a place where you can find us. So whenever I tell people here, hey, look, I'm at Lighthouse Silva, they instantly, oh, I know where that's at. I know where that location is. I don't have to go looking for it. It's there. But then the opportunities that lead us to make me think that there is a weakness to it as well is one of the things is that we are one of my uphill battles. And I'm not trying to put other people under the bus. The last two pastors here have focused really heavily on foreign missions, which is phenomenal. Great. I mean, for a small church in the South to have a direct foreign mission church that they support is unheard of, but this church has one. One of the opportunities or weaknesses is that our community influence is severely less than optimal. We are not really well known in our community. The community knows us, as in, hey, I know where you are, but but our influence in the community is really weak at the moment. Now, I say that to also, the other side of that is the opportunity that we do have. So at the end of October, and I understand that we're doing COVID and those types of things, but one of the things I would ask that you pray for is we're doing a community outreach for Trunk or Treat. It is a kid-friendly drive-through trunk or treat. Like, I had to be all of the descriptions on there to help, because in North Carolina, the COVID restrictions, I'm not sure how they compare with Ohio, but our COVID restrictions are still pretty high right at the moment about people gathering and those types of things. So we had to become creative so what are we going to do? So we have an opportunity right now to, at the end of the month, to have an outreach. And I think that's where the strength comes from of this church is they, hey, I went to we actually have an outreach team, and I went to them and I was like, hey, I have this idea. And they were like, that's great. They're like, they got excited about it. And then before, I was just throwing it out as like an idea. And then by the time the service was over, it's on Sunday morning, it was going to be an event, and they were already organizing it. So that's great. But it's one of those things where they're really about, okay, well, they were just ready for a new leader. And I understand right now, Pastor Ryan understands this, right? I understand right now we're sort of still in the honeymoon phase of being a pastor and being a church. But what's really neat about it is, we just, as they are learning my language and as they're learning my expectations, they're rising up to meet them. And that's what's incredible. They, because of things that I'm wanting to do, they are just, again, jumping on board with that. And it's been phenomenal. So there's a strength for them as we climb up that chain then is their ability. And I understand it may sound contradictive, but even though it's an older congregation, and I'm young enough for at least one of them to be their great grandchild, because I have there's one lady in our church, she just turned 95, and so but they're so excited about trying something new. They're so excited about, hey, we've never done anything like that before. They say it that way. We've never done anything like that before. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. That's a beautiful strength that they have right at the moment, and just pray that continues, because as we continue to march forward, one of the things for us is just, okay, what did we learn from this? Did we do our best setting those goals? What does success look like? And we keep moving forward. And those are, so I hope that kind of explains for you sort of the spectrum that we're on right at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely perfect, because and I've got to be mindful of time too, because I know you and I, because of our friendship, we could probably talk for 2 hours, and then go out, get some coffee, and keep talking.
Yeah.
So let's do this thing kind of as a recap. Give me 3 or 4, bullet point those things again, 3 or 4 things we could be praying for, and then tack onto that maybe 3 or 4 things we can be praising God about for you and for the church.
Right. Pray. Our prayer concerns right at the moment is, again, we are just praying for visitors. We're praying for people to come and join our church family, and not that we're taking people from other churches, which I'll poke fun at the South. Okay, look, I'm in the South. That happens a lot. Hey, look, this is the new guy. Let's go talk to him. But praying for those visitors who are coming to join the church because they've never heard of Christ. They're hearing Christ for the first time. They're the new believers. We're praying for those. Second, we're praying for those that are recent string of visitors that we've had here. I've been talking to. They are still hurting spiritually from other places, events in their lives, people in their lives. And as you guys understand, because I'm thankful for you. I mean, counseling is one of the things that you guys invested in me, and they start talking, I instantly go, that's interesting. Would you like talking about that? And they go, sure. No one's ever asked us to talk about it. So it's praying for the visitor. It's praying for those who've been spiritually hurt. And then again, I would just pray that as we are continuing to implement new things, new expectations, new, even new vocabulary, that the church would just continue to be supportive of it. That my explanation of it would not be, hey, it sounded really good up here in my head, but when it came out, it just fell flat. Because as the church is learning me and how God's leading my heart, I hope that they will see it and I can explain it well enough so that we're going to follow you, Pastor, and we'll try it. We'll keep going. And whenever they have questions, that they ask those questions, and I'm just, that doesn't offend me. Doesn't offend me to ask a question. Let me answer it for you, because again, I probably explained it a lot better inside my head than I did verbally. That's what I'd ask you to pray for. But now on the pray side of it, again, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful to God for the wonderful blessing of my family. You guys know my family really well. Over the past 2 years, we had numerous opportunities to go, for it all to go wrong so many different ways. My kids could have just revolted and said, hey, I'm tired of the change. It could have, you guys know Christy, and she's not as extroverted as I am. We get so many opportunities. but they were probably the strength for me to just follow and to cry out to God and to just go, God, where are you leading me? And where are you leading us? And for them just to look at me and go, Dad, yeah, we're with you. And I can't thank you. I mean, I can't thank God enough for that. And and again, I think a lot of people at Tri-County, because you invested in my kids so well. Over the past 2 years, some of the questions that they've asked are really neat, because I've been their primary teacher for 2 years. Just me. I've been the big voice, and some of the questions they're asking are incredible. And I think I have to thank Tri-County so much for a lot of that foundational work that I'm building on now. It's great. So I'm thankful for my family. Again, I'm so thankful for being prepared. I don't know if I can explain to you or to the Tri-County family. I get it. Okay. Church life's hard. I get it. My tenure at Tri-County, we face things, right? Transparently. But because of facing those things, I'm able to walk into Lighthouse and not arrogantly, not anything. I'm just able to be real with people and say, have you guys thought about this? Have you guys considered that? Just bringing all those ideas that worked and failed and somewhat worked, just walking in the door and just saying, hey, we're going to try this and we're going to do this. Again, I'm so thankful for that, because even in the 2 months we've been here, I've already faced that. It was like, I think my second full week here, it was like, welcome, glad you're here, and it got, sort of it falls in your lap, because things that they've sort of been pushing off for the last year and a half, because they've just not had a pastor in charge. And as we know, look, there are people who are called to be pastors, shepherds, and elders. And whenever you don't have those people, a church body it's hard on the church body. But whenever, so it was like my second week here that got landed on my desk, and I'm like, that's not hard. Let's just solve it. We're going to open up God's word and we're going to answer it. And that's, again, I'm so thankful for that. But then, I want to end it with a prayer for just as our family. We've left so many family and friends in Ohio. We miss you all terribly. We talk about you all quite often, although we did find a Culver's about 30 minutes away. Every time we go eat at Culver's, there's a little bit of nostalgia there. But we miss you. I would ask for us as a family just to be praying as we start trying to find trying to find friendships here, trying to find those, as we build those relationships, as God continues to knit our heart together here, like he did with you all at Tri-County. I pray that he does that here at Lighthouse, because again, that's the only way we can all move forward, is if God does that and keeps us going. So I ask you to pray for me.
Well, Mark, that seriously, that was absolutely fantastic. I'm going to have you hang on just for a moment. I'm going to speak to the church family really quick. My church family, the church family, just hang on. In just a moment, when I let you go, as we've usually done, we'll have a slide come up with prayer requests and praises. We'll give you about 2 minutes with some music in the background to pray for those through those things. And then I'll come back with a quick goodbye and let you all go. But again, Mark, thank you so much for being with us. We'll go ahead and sign off here, and then I'll have him stay on so he and I can kind of just say goodbye together. And so again, those slides now are coming up. Thank you for being with us tonight, church family. Well, how great was that? We hope that this has been an encouraging time together. We'll see you this Sunday if Christ doesn't return. But before that, have a blessed evening.